Awesome. And we are live, and let me make sure it's working everywhere else. Hi, everybody. So excited you're here today on our Thursday at noon lunch and learn little sessions we have going on. Today we have Tina Hurst joining us. So we're so excited you're here today, Tina.
Thank you.
Yeah, and where are you calling in from today?
Sycamore, Illinois.
Sycamore, Illinois. So that's, Chicago burb out there.
Oh, yeah.
For anyone, for people who don't know out there. But today we are going to be talking about life insurance and the importance of life insurance, especially for women. Just to get started, we are Purse Strings. We're here to provide financial education for women. And then we know, knowledge can take you so far, and then you need a professional to really wrap up some of those items. So we have trusted and approved professionals who love to work with the female market and will really be there for you. And so Tina is one of our Purse Strings approved professionals. So we're so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming. So Tina, you are a P&C agent, which is a property and casualty agent, correct?
That is correct. Yep.
And you are the owner of your
Tina Hurst State Farm. Yes.
Tina Hurst State Farm.
Yes.
Yep. So you have your own kind of franchise portion of it.
Right.
The own Tina Hurst version, which is awesome. And so what made you jump into life insurance and insurance itself?
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting because I've been in the insurance industry for 40 years now. And I started with Allstate back when I was only 19 years old. Pretty much grew up there, got my college degree while I was working there. I started as a secretary and moved up into different senior management positions. And I think that is where I met your mother, Barb.
I think you're right. Yep.
Yeah.
Many moons ago.
Yeah. So then about six and a half years ago, I opened my State Farm agency here in Sycamore. And I will tell you, I'm really passionate about helping women. And, insurance is a man's world. I don't know if you know that or not. But it is a man's world. And many times I felt like I didn't belong over the last 40 years. And women as customers are not always treated with respect that they deserve. Sometimes they get talked down to, and sometimes they totally get dismissed. And I have to tell you, that really breaks my heart. So I don't sell insurance. I help educate people about what insurance is. And I don't care if you're a man or a woman, insurance is complicated. I don't care who you are. And the same goes with life insurance, because I know we want to talk more about life insurance today. So, yeah.
I love where you're coming from. It is a man's world, both, inside the firm or inside the organization, as well as outside. It's really talked to, more to men and the importance to them, which is why we want to bring this education forward, because women need life insurance, and it's so important to them. And, I was reading a couple articles, and all of them have stated that less women have life insurance than men. And even when women have life insurance, they're underinsured, where men are more properly insured. And these are the things we really need to bring to the forefront and kind of understand why that is, and really step up to the table to figure out why it's important for us, and, to get that right amount of our worth, and figuring out kind of what that worth is.
Right. One thing I always say, I don't sell life insurance. I offer it to people. And if they want it, they want it. If they don't, they don't. And my little insurance agency here in Sycamore, Illinois, this year alone, we submitted 105 life insurance applications.
Awesome.
And we have about 85 policies that were issued. So 85 more people have life insurance that they did a year ago. And that's just for my little agency here. And, of the 85 got issued, we submitted 105. And you know what that means, Maggie? It means that
most people got approved.
But, about 20% didn't, right? And, that's one thing we always talk about life insurance is you don't just buy it, you have to qualify for it. And a lot of people, when something happens with their health, that's when they want to buy it. And that's the worst time to buy it. So just something to think about.
So let's just get started with, what is life insurance? What's the gig about it?
Well, basically life insurance is just about protecting your family, giving financial protection to your family. It's nothing more than that. So, it's something happens to you, your family gets money so that they can take care of things like final expense, burial, cremation, whatever you would like, whatever your desires are. But also college education for your kids, or paying off the mortgage. And it's very, very important for people to have life insurance.
And so, so if somebody passes and they do have life insurance, they get this sum of money, that goes to their beneficiary, which is our key word here, our beneficiary. And that's the person who you want to give the money to. Yes. A big asterisk that we'd like to talk about a lot is to update these items if life event happens. I was just talking to Barb earlier, and she was saying how a friend was married, husband died. He never updated his beneficiary, and all the money went to the ex-wife because it never was updated.
Yeah.
And so it's things like that we do need to update, and that's why the beneficiary is so important.
That's correct. That is correct. And hopefully everybody has an agent that is proactive and reaches out to you once a year and says, "Hey, Maggie, is your beneficiaries up to date? Have you had any life changes?" It's important. This life insurance is not set it and forget it. You need to look at it. So it's very, very important to update it. Yeah.
So what is it, or how would you qualify for life insurance? How does that process work?
Well, it's pretty much just an application that goes in. And you answer a few medical questions. Somebody as young as you, Maggie, you would answer a few questions and it'd probably just spit it out and you would issue. Somebody who's my age, they're going to do some medical underwriting on it. They're going to make sure that I don't have high blood pressure or diabetes or anything like that could make me more high risk. So it's pretty much putting in an application in and seeing if you get it. So, it's important to buy, again, life insurance.
I can't hear you, and I don't know if it's you or now you're back. Oh,
sometimes your daughters call you in the middle of the presentation, but that's okay.
We're good at that.
Children are important.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And so the ideally, when you purchase life insurance, you're young, you're healthy, because then chances are you're not going to be as sick as somebody who's older.
Right. You're going to qualify for it. And, I wrote somebody this past year who was 75 years old, and we wrote her what we call a final expense. And it's just for her family to have that money to, for the final expense, the burial, whatever she wants. And she qualified. So just because you're older doesn't mean you won't qualify. I would qualify today. I'm really healthy. I'm not on any major meds or anything like that. But I've got relatives that are my age that absolutely would not qualify because they've got some really serious stuff going on. So it doesn't matter what your age is. You can always qualify. But it's like buying a home insurance policy. You want to do that before your house burns down. You don't want to do it after. It doesn't make sense,
Right.
So, if somebody's shopping for insurance because they had cancer 2 years ago, they're not going to qualify. So, when things happen in your life, you just never know what health is going to bring you. I don't care how old you are, So.
And that's insurance, covering the thing that you hope, you buy it, you hope you never have to use it.
Right. Yeah. And I would just say too, just to tag on to this, so many people use Gofundme for life insurance, and that's not life insurance.
Right.
Unfortunately I didn't plan. A lot of people do that because they think they can't afford it. And that's really not the case in most situations.
Right. And it's hard seeing those GoFundMes happen, and you really want to respect the person that's passed and really give them everything that you hoped and dreamed and they deserve. And so I love how you approved this lady who was at 75. I mean, it's not like, I think a lot of people, they kind of hit 50 and they're like, there's no way it's gonna.
Oh, no, not at all. Most 50-year-olds would probably qualify. They're going to pay a lot more.
Yes, of course, of course.
Risk. But God, I've got a 3 or 4 sitting out there now of people in their 50s. You should go right through. I don't think it'd be an issue. You know?
And so how does the payment of life insurance work? Do I pay till the end of my day, or how does this work?
So there's basically 2 different kinds of policies. I always put it in 2 buckets. There's temporary and there's permanent. Temporary, and they both serve a great purpose. Temporary is, we call it term insurance. So you buy a 10-year, 20-year, 30-year term and you lock in the price. So Maggie, I'm going to pretend you're 30 today. So if you bought a 30-year term, I know you're not 30 yet, but it would take you to age 60 and you would lock in the price based on today's health and today's age. They're really inexpensive, very, very cheap. I always tell people, 2 things impact the price of your insurance: your age and your health, and what kind of policy you get, either permanent or temporary. So the temporary ones, the term, I love them. There's nothing wrong with them. I think they're fantastic because they're low cost. So for example, someone who is 30 years old, and let's say, Maggie, you're 30, you've got 2 kids, and you've got a $250,000 policy. That is a monthly cost of about what it would take for you to bring a family of 4 to McDonald's. You know how expensive McDonald's? It's crazy. You could spend $25, $30 at McDonald's, and instead of that, you could get a $250,000 term policy. I'm simplifying it, but it's that inexpensive.
So that would be for 30 years, you would be paying this flat fee. Let's
say $25
of $25 every month for 30 years.
Correct.
But if anything happened to you, if you passed away at any point, the beneficiary would get $250,000.
Correct. And the other thing we always tell people too, that people don't realize, is that that's not taxable. Okay, so your beneficiaries get the $250,000. It's not like a lottery or something like that where they're going to take 30% of the taxes off the top. That whole $250,000 can go towards the mortgage or college or whatever you need.
Right.
So that's temporary insurance. And then a permanent plan is there's different names for it. Permanent could be a whole life policy, or it could be a universal life policy. And it could pay dividends, or it could be an interest-based product. Those are a little bit more difficult to understand, but I am really good at explaining it in a simple term, but you lock in. If you're 30 years old, how old are you, Maggie? I'm so sorry. I keep calling you.
I'm 26.
Okay,
I don't care.
Good for you. But if you're 30, you would buy a permanent plan, whole life universal. And let's say instead of $25 a month, I'm just making up numbers, it's $50 a month for you. But that price will be locked in for the rest of your life. A whole life policy goes to age 121. So you lock it in now, and it's good until you pass away. And then it keeps growing. The cash value grows, or the dividends grows, and the life insurance amount goes from maybe 100 to 120. I'm just making it numbers, but it keeps growing. It's kind of like does that make sense? Sorry.
Yeah, it does. And so it's very much like a conversation you would want to have with your agent due to your situation, your health, your life plan, your kids, your age, all those good things.
Exactly. Term life is very easy to understand. It's very, very, very black and white. It's this and this, and this is the price. Once you qualify, it's locked in. But permanent gets a little bit more, you need to go through the illustration and see what it does for you.
Right. And so these are wonderful gifts. Our theme is gifts to family. It's December. This is a wonderful gift to your family.
Yes.
But let's stay back and be selfish for a minute. Can it do anything for me today while I'm alive and thriving?
So that's a really good question. So, what can it do for me? Basically, it provides financial protection for your family. It helps you sleep at night. right? Because you know if something happens to you, your family's going to be okay financially, not emotionally, but financially they'll be okay. And it's really not about you, right? Life
That's true.
insurance is, I like to call it love insurance. It's about loving people, but it's about financial protection for those you love. There's also more complex life insurance like universal or whole life. And there is a book that I love. It's called The Power of Zero. Have you ever heard of that, Maggie?
That one sounds familiar. I don't think I've read it though.
Yeah, so it's a really quick read. This is what it looks like. Right? I got it right here. And I didn't write the book. Some other guy did. Some other person did. But it talks about how to get the 0% tax bracket, how to get to a 0% tax bracket and transform your retirement. It's a really quick read, but life insurance, if you have more money to put into it, there's other things you can do for it. So it's very, it's much more complicated than what I've talked about, but it's a really good read. And maybe if you can't sleep at night, maybe, pick that up.
Pick that book up.
But the other thing I just wanted to say is that people insure their cars, right? Mm-hmm. People insure their homes. People insure their cell phones. They don't always insure their lives. Of course, you have to legally insure your car, right? Although many people don't. You have to insure your home, right? Well, not really, because if you don't have a mortgage, you don't have to insure your home. You don't have to insure your home. It's a risk you take. You don't have to insure your $300 cell phone. I did drop.
They offer it all the time.
They do. I dropped one in the toilet once, and it was garbage. And financially, it set me back just a tiny bit, not much, about $300. Right. But if you're going to insure all those things, insure your life, insure the financial protection of your family, and we've got to start talking about life insurance. It can't be a forbidden topic. It just can't be. And I'm confident that 99% of women understand that. They really do. Women understand that. Generally, and it's just my opinion, it's the men that avoid the topic altogether, because they think if they buy it, something's going to happen to them. But yet they'll buy car insurance, doesn't mean they're getting an accident. They'll buy home insurance, doesn't mean their home's going to burn down. They do it to protect their family, right?
Right.
So,
and so I think, we talk to a lot of women who don't feel like they're worth that much due to either their income or, I don't make an income because I'm a stay-at-home parent, which is a full-time job. We've seen the studies of, that could be $150,000 a year to hire someone to cook, to clean, to take the kids, to do the homework, to bathe the kids, to, grocery shop, everything else that a mom does or a stay-at-home parent does. And how that is still such a high worth and that needs to be insured, because if you pass, who's going to do all that, and send your kids to school? This is what you need the money for. It's not just to go, like you said, win the lottery and have this cash. Right. It's to make this other income and this other person again.
And it's also for this. It's to allow your family time to grieve, right? So if I'm a mom, and I do have 2 girls, but they're older, but if I'm a mom of a 5 and a 7-year-old and something happens to me, I hope my husband isn't right back to work the next day. He's probably going to need to take a month off and for the kids to be okay. So, having that extra finance, I don't care if you're stay at home or it's important. So,
yeah. You have the time to mourn and not that burden of, well, I still have to pay my mortgage and not get kicked out of the house, even though so-and-so just passed.
And you want your kids to stay in the same house, you want them to change schools and all of that. So, basically my thoughts is I can't think of very many people except for, I can't think of very many people that couldn't benefit from life insurance. And their family has a lot of money that they don't need it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's going to come out of pocket then.
Right. So Maggie, if your mom was a millionaire, maybe you wouldn't need it,
Yeah.
Because she's going to take care of things for you. Just like college, I didn't pay for all my kids' college education. They were part of it, but I don't know. Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about life insurance.
Definitely. No worries. And then the last thing I kind of wanted to make sure that we get in today is the idea of getting life insurance from work.
Yes.
And that is, I'll just let you, I'll give you that topic and just throw it out at you, see what you got.
Yeah, life insurance is great through work. Get as much as you can. It's cheap. It's a group policy, but you don't own it. It's not yours. When you leave, very few companies let you take it with you. So, and in this job market, oh my God, how many people lost their job over the last couple of years? I know a lot of people that lost their job. So group insurance, cheap, get as much as you can, go for it. But don't let it be the only thing you've got. Because when that job goes away, it's just kind of like if they give you a company car. Guess what? They're not going to let you keep the car. You're going to have to give it back. Same thing with the group life insurance. So
definitely. We talked to a lot of people who didn't know that the day they walk out the door went that life insurance policy as well.
Right. Right.
Because you don't own it, which is so important to remember and to back yourself up. Exactly. Just like the car, you'd give it back. You knew you would have to go find another car.
Yeah. And there may be a few companies that still give life insurance. Like I think teachers may if you're a teacher, you may get a little, I'm not really sure, but most industries, even the insurance industry, does not provide group life insurance after retirement. So.
Wow. Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe there's some out there, but.
Well, I feel like we covered a lot of different topics today about life insurance. We know that a lot of people can apply. Anyone can apply for it. A lot of people do qualify. So just check it out, have the conversation. There's perm and term, so permanent or whole life, and then term, which is just for a term, which is a great conversation to have with your agent. And the fact that we all have this strong worth and we insure everything else and we have to insure ourselves. And when we do that, make sure you're insuring yourself enough as well. Don't cut yourself short, especially at this time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so,
and the last thing I would just say, it's time to start talking about life insurance and stop making it a forbidden topic. And any woman out there, don't let someone take shortcuts with you. You make them explain exactly what's going on with what you've got. I don't care if it's your home, your auto, or your life insurance. Make them explain it. Okay.
Definitely. No more tomorrows. Let's get this done. Let's get it on the books, our appointments.
That's
so this has been Tina Hurst. She is in Illinois, so can serve anyone who is in the state of Illinois. We also have other PNC agents as well to serve any other states, or call Tina with questions and she's happy to refer you to someone as well. Tina's one of our wonderful Purse Strings approved professionals. So you can always check her out on our site, pursestrings.co. But Tina's part of the Tina Hurst State Farm. And so you can reach her at tina.hurst.fl0h@statefarm.com.
Or Tina at insurewithhurst.com. That one's easier, but.
It is. Insure with Hurst, Tina. No problem. So thank you so much for coming on today. I hope everyone gives a wonderful gift of love to their family with some life insurance, and have a great week. We'll see everyone next week again.
Thank you, Maggie. Bye.
Of course.